Breath of the Wild is one of my favourite games of all time. I love it for its size, its serenity, and above all, its freedom. Tears of the Kingdom improves on all three of those aspects. It's bigger, more beautiful, and sets me free in ways I never knew a game could. So from an analytical point of view, Tears of the Kingdom should be a better game than Breath of the Wild, right? Well, I'd like to lay out in this video why Tears of the Kingdom is not only inferior to Breath of the Wild, but why it's my least favourite 3D Zelda. Now, to justify this claim, I should tell you what I've achieved in the game so far. I've beaten the main campaign and unlocked the true ending, I've completed every shrine, I've found 140 Koroks, and I've discovered every light route in the depths. So there have been a couple of sleepless nights in the last few days, as well as a couple days of annual leave taken. Now, I'm not going to nitpick this video with claims you've all heard before. Anyone who declares Tears of the Kingdom DLC is utterly insane, and while not a lot has changed, I feel that the additions to the game more than make up for that. So let's get into my first point. Breath of the Wild was so amazing because of the sense of discovery and the reward for finding those discoveries. This aspect of Breath of the Wild has returned more robust than ever in Tears of the Kingdom, with brand new shrines and Koroks littered throughout Hyrule. No matter what direction you went in, you were sure to find something. It might be as simple as a treasure chest or as grand as a shrine, but every nook and cranny had something hidden in it. The problem in Tears of the Kingdom is that this philosophy doesn't apply to the whole game, namely in the depths. Firstly, once you're done illuminating the depths so you can fully explore them, I find that there's not a lot to actually do down there. There are no Koroks, no shrines, and there are no collectibles unique to the depths, which makes me question why I'd want to explore it. Now, it's absolutely worth exploring. Many of Tears of the Kingdom's best surprises come from the depths. The depths are the most exciting place to explore in Tears of the Kingdom. It's just a shame that I don't feel rewarded for doing so. The depths are a far more exciting place to explore than the Sky Islands, so much so that I question why Nintendo marketed the Sky Islands so much when the depths were far more interesting and expansive. Expectations are set high on the Great Sky Island, which is precisely what I was hoping from them. But there's nothing else really like the Great Sky Island in the whole game, except maybe the Thunderhead Isles. Most of the Sky Islands are identical. There are multiple Sphere Islands, Boss Fight Islands, Diving Ring Islands, and Launchpad Islands. I'm incredibly disappointed at the lack of variety in both design and biome, as all of them feature this same gorgeous orange forest no matter where in the world they're located. But all of that is why I think Tears of the Kingdom is a lesser game than Breath of the Wild. I still need to justify why I think it's my least favourite 3D Zelda. Whenever Nintendo makes a Zelda game, there's always a unique idea behind it. It's not like Super Mario where they just make another Mario because they can. There's always a reason for it. Going all the way back to the NES and Zelda 2 being played from a side-on perspective, and it continued throughout the franchise. A Link to the Past's Dark World, Ocarina of Time's translation into 3D, Wind Waker's sailing, Skyward Sword's motion controls, and Breath of the Wild's open world. The only Zelda game I can think of that doesn't have a unique selling point is Link's Awakening, which is a marvelous game, but it ultimately feels like they just needed to make a Zelda for the Game Boy. And Tears of the Kingdom feels the same way. The Sky Islands are too sparse to be the selling point, and the depths just aren't rewarding enough. I suppose building vehicles could be considered the selling point, but there's a massive problem with this mechanic. The world wasn't designed to be driven around in. It was made with Breath of the Wild's climbing in mind. The only place you can reliably drive your vehicles is Hyrule Field and a few other places. Everywhere else just feels restrictive. Don't get me wrong, these powers blow Breath of the Wild out of the water, but the world wasn't designed to accommodate them. Ultimately, the idea behind Tears of the Kingdom was, let's make another Breath of the Wild. And that's a sting when I think about how every other Zelda hugely differentiates itself. You may think I hate Tears of the Kingdom, and you could not be more wrong. As a bit of a tangent here, I'd like to reveal that due to my autism, I love to categorize things. And so for as long as I've been playing games, every time I beat one, I rank it compared to every other game I've beaten. All 207 at the time of writing. At the very top of my 9 out of 10 category sits Tears of the Kingdom. It's in my top 20 games of all time because it improved on Breath of the Wild in every way, it just didn't have the magic Breath of the Wild did. My discoveries didn't feel rewarded, I was disappointed by the new areas, and their genius idea didn't mesh well with the open world. Tears of the Kingdom is so wonderful that I'm probably never going to play Breath of the Wild again, and that scares me, but Tears of the Kingdom is mathematically a better game, but it lacks the spark that every Zelda carries with it.